Oscar goes to. And the Oscar goes to.
The Oscar goes to.
And the Oscar goes to.
Hello and welcome back to the podcast. My name is Oscar. I'm your host. This is the Not That Oscar podcast. We are doing three things today. All right. We're talking about where I would rank. Where I would rank the 9 brand new movies of March that I watched, and Rocky starts. We're also going to do the March box office. And then we're also going to look at what's to come in April, because it's a stacked month. I mean, honestly, it's almost too much to handle. But we can kind of get cracking. Podcasts are going to be every Wednesday or Thursday, depending on when I can film. Of course, if you want more of me, should that please you, you can find me over on TikTok. I post multiple times a day. I'm live pretty much every day from around 5:30 p.m. for a couple hours. And I'll pop up over the weekend as well. And then YouTube Shorts, Spotify, YouTube, everything is at Not That Oscar. So do with that as you please. Let's get cracking. I hope you're all well, by the way. Please do drop your thoughts in the comment section down below as we go through it. But March. Now, I only watched 22 movies in March. Yes, Oscar, that's a pretty measly attempt. It is. Okay? Now, can I tell you why? I'm not entirely sure, but I know for a fact I spent about 4 evenings binging The Pit. I then spent a couple evenings doing Daredevil and Invincible. But it's just been, I don't know. I think sometimes I kind of, not that I never want to watch movies, but not that I don't ever want to watch movies. It's just, a couple of days off, kind of just doom scrolling, which has been quite nice to be able to sort of relax. I'm still feeling it post-Oscar season. Okay, award ceremonies are knackering. They're very stressful, but I'm really excited. April has a lot. We'll get into that at the end of the podcast, but very excited for everything that April holds. So March-wise, as I said, 22 movies I watched in March. 9 of them were brand new. Here they are, ranked from worst to best, with some additional thoughts along the way. Number 9, Pretty Lethal. This is an Uma Thurman action movie that was on Prime Video. I gave it 2 stars, 2.5 stars. Probably get my letterbox open is what I should actually do. Now, I think not that films need to be realistic in any sense. Okay, we're all aware of that, and I was just a little bit upset around their lack of imagination. Now, if you've seen anything like Nobody or Love Hurts, they're kind of pretty similar. Okay, it's someone that you wouldn't expect to have the ability to fight finds themselves in the middle of a life and death scenario. It was just very unimaginative. Okay, number 8, pretty similar reasons. Ready or Not 2. I think the first film is brilliant and is already a cult classic. A lot of us see that movie as a bit of a new turn, a new approach to horror, to trapped in one location, to whatever it might be. And it worked really well. I loved Ready or Not. Ready or Not 2, on the other hand, fell very much from the first hurdle. I think Samara Weaving is great. She's very much a scream queen. Put her in a room with Neve Campbell, and you kind of got an ultimate duo. I don't know whether Catherine Newton was the greatest sort of accomplice to this film. I can't really think off the top of my mind who else. Sophie Thatcher maybe was who I thought. I love Sophie Thatcher. I think she does a great job at those sort of things. But it kind of just used up all its fun within the first movie. Ready or Not 2, so that comes in at 8. Peaky Blinders, The Immortal Man. A movie that I was intrigued by because one of my favourite TV shows of all time, now in film format. Unfortunately, I didn't care for Duke, being Tommy Shelby's son. I didn't care for the new villain, played by Tim Roth. Couldn't even tell you his name. He was also very much the same sort of villain as Oswald Mosley in season 6. Why didn't he just return? It was very bizarre, felt like a money grab, and then it feels like a money grab, but they also only put it very limited in mainly UK cinemas for like a week, and it made about £1 million at the box office, which £1 million to a lot of us is a lot of money, but considering the movie probably cost around 20, maybe 30 million to make, I don't know. It's not great, is it? Sixth place is War Machine, Netflix movie starring Alan Richardson. While he's not busy beating up his neighbors. If you know, you know. He is doing this movie now. 70% of this film is great, and then the reveal happens. It's kind of like Pacific Rim in a sort of way. There's like a gigantic robot in it. It was kind of a bit boring, to be honest. Hence my lack of imaginative words. I felt let down. They Will Kill You by Zazie Beetz. Now we're talking. Now this is where the movies start getting good, okay? This could easily be in fourth place, but I've decided to put it fifth. She's an icon, okay? I loved her in Deadpool 2. I think she's great as Domino. It'd be nice to see her return. But the action in this is phenomenal. It's grown on me in time. I gave it 3 stars initially when I watched it, and I think I bumped up to 3.5. She is formidable in action sequences. There's a lot of one shots. The camera angles are great. The soundtrack's even better. The horror elements are fun, and it's kind of wacky in a good way. You know, Tom Felton plays a pretty fun character. You don't really get to see him in much anymore, so nice to see him not doing Harry Potter, because he's always just doing Harry Potter-esque stuff. But I would suggest you seek out They Will Kill You. Now, we'll talk about the box office run of that movie, because it's actually pretty damn poor. But, not everything can win. Speaking of not everything can win, is How to Make a Killing. Not How to Kill You. How to Make a Killing comes in fourth place. This is Glenn Powell. Now, Glenn Powell has had back-to-back flops at the box office. We'll talk about his numbers in a moment. But he did The Running Man, which was a David Leitch. No, it wouldn't have been David Leitch. Who directed him? Edgar Wright? Edgar Wright did The Running Man. Sorry, David Leitch, not going to throw you under the bus like that. He did The Running Man. Budget of 80 million, that movie. And it made just 61 million at the box office. So not only did it not even make its production budget back, but it didn't even break even. Now, the industry average to break even is around 2.5 times your production budget, because another 100% usually goes on marketing, and then 50% goes towards the theatre. They take 50% of the earnings from the box office. So once you made 2.5 times, that is all your money at that point. Only 61 million. Way off what would be the 200 million break-even points. Now, Running Man probably wasn't ever going to make 200 million, but I think it deserved at least 100 million or 150. It was fun. It's not as good as the original, although the original's not even that great. The original was like a 3.5 anyway, but gave this 3.5. I gave Running Man 3.5. How to Make a Killing, I also gave 3.5. It's a fun time. Margaret Qualley is pretty good. It just fell flat at points. I wanted a bit more, not charisma from Glenn Powell, but I feel like he's holding back. He's meant to be sort of Hollywood's new star boy, and I'm not really getting that from him yet. Now, he's obviously in Super Mario Bros. Movie, Galaxy movie, new one that came out yesterday. If you're listening, I believe this comes out on a Thursday. So he's kind of everywhere, but isn't leaving much of an impact. I'm sorry, Glenn, but that's the truth. You have The Bride in third place. Maggie Gyllenhaal did a pretty good job with this. I enjoyed it. It's an homage to cinema. There's a lot of Bonnie and Clyde references. A lot of callbacks to 1950s, 60s, 70s cinema, which my dad loved. Okay, I went with my dad and my brother. We kind of had the 3 arcs of enjoyment. My brother thought it was pretty poor. I thought it was fine. My dad loved it. He was like, this is one of the best films I've ever seen in my life. Whether you can trust my dad's opinion on cinema is unknown. He thought Avatar 3 was one of the worst films he's ever seen. But his favourite movie is Evil Dead Army of Darkness. So he has some taste, but it's kind of a bit all over the place. So I think he likes a bit of older cinema. He doesn't really like this new CGI motion capture stuff. I'm not sure that's up his street. which is fine. But I don't think it's what a lot of people expected post Frankenstein. Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein of 2025 was phenomenal. It's there. If you're watching, you can watch on Spotify and YouTube. I'm pointing at a really cool IMAX poster that I got of Frankenstein. It's like his back carved open. I think you can probably make it out. And I loved that. I liked that adaptation. Very gothic. Now, people heard The Bride. They heard, oh, The Bride of Frankenstein. Okay, this could be interesting. Is it going to be about the creation of his bride? That's over within 5 minutes. It's a very short sequence. This is all about identification, basically, after being reborn and establishing yourself with a completely new mindset, and yet you're in the body of someone that's lived 30 odd years. And I think it was cool. I think Christian Bale is doing a lot with not much. His character, Frankenstein's monster, is very boring. The script is not well written for him, but Christian Bale puts in a pretty good effort. Of course, Jessie Buckley's coming off of Hamnet. Everyone was like, hey, she just won an Oscar. Let's check out her new movie. She does a good job. I just wasn't entirely convinced. It was very fourth wall breaking meta commentary, and I just don't think suits this style of cinema. So it was like you either commit to the bits or you go down the gothic route, but I don't think combining them works very well. And that kind of, we'll discuss the box office in a moment, that kind of showed that people didn't really enjoy it. Number two is my only rewatch of the month. This is Hoppers. I saw it twice within a few days. Voice acting performances were great. Dave Franco's was phenomenal as Titus, grade A terrorist, that character. YouTube won't like that word. Sorry, YouTube. It was so fun. An original animation, high detail CGI animation. They put a lot of effort into this. We should be celebrating this. It's kind of being celebrated at the box office, which is important to these companies. To me, I'm just happy we got an original. Okay? Very rarely do we even get original films, let alone an original animation. So, loved it. And the number one, without a doubt, is Project Hail Mary. Now, I would like to rewatch this movie. I've got to find the time. Is it too early to call it a masterpiece? I don't know. It's such a crowd pleaser that I think people are unwilling to call it a masterpiece because it's a mass enjoyable film. And I'm like, just because absolutely everybody loves it and it's easy watching for your 10-year-old or your 90-year-old or everywhere in between, and the cinematography is off the charts, there's so many things for the nerds to enjoy. There's so many things for the action lovers to enjoy. There's so many things for Gosling lovers to enjoy. It has everything. It's a crowd pleaser movie. And yet it hits absolutely every single note without failure. You look back at One Battle After Another, Anora, Everything Everywhere All at Once. They're incredibly well-received movies, but not massive blockbusters. One Battle After Another actually lost Warner Brothers about 100 million, which is kind of crazy, despite the fact it won 6 Oscars. And Project Hail Mary is both well received. It's on 4.3 on Letterboxd as of the 31st. It's got 1.3 million logs. It's the 110th most, highest rated movie of all time on Letterboxd. 95% Rotten Tomatoes, 8.4 on IMDb, and it's a box office success. It's got everything. Is it a Best Picture winner for next year? It's certainly going to get nominated. I would be incredibly surprised if this movie doesn't get nominated. I would struggle to understand why. Now, Disclosure Day, The Odyssey, probably looking at the End of Oak Street, maybe not. Toy Story 5 could sneak its way in there. What else have we got this year? My mind's drawing a blank. Anyway, you get the idea. There's plenty of other options that could be nominated. but I'd be surprised if this wasn't one of them. So yeah, it's made about 320 million so far at the box office, and it's got about 3.5 weeks left at the box office. It could easily double those numbers, and I think it will over time. Okay, now on average, I think a movie does like a 70% drop in revenue from week 1 to week 2, something crazy like that. That's why opening weekends are so important. But then it kind of carries that on for like a month or 6 weeks, so it builds up. This only had like a 30% drop, something like that. It's kind of crazy. 32%. So I'm going to compare it to Oppenheimer. Project Hail Mary domestically only dropped 32% on its second weekend, and it made another $54.5 million domestically. So people are comparing this to Oppenheimer because in the last decade, only 2 original movies have debuted domestically at over $80 million. Following? Good. So kind of crazy. And Oppenheimer in its second weekend dropped 43% and made just $46.7 million domestically. So, and as of recording, Project Hail Mary has only been open about 12 days. So we're looking at the fact that Project Hail Mary is on the same path as 900 million that Oppenheimer did. I just don't think Miller and Lord have the drag that Nolan does. I think people look at space movies and kind of turn their nose up at them a little bit. And it is Oppenheimer's long, but it's just I don't think it will quite have the continuous draw of Oppenheimer. Like Oppenheimer was a guaranteed Oscar winner. It was like, yes, this is Nolan at his peak. This is great. Project Hail Mary is still like, is it a masterpiece? We need to kind of develop that over time. But it's going to make a lot of money. I think it will hit the 6, possibly 700 million mark. Depends whether it picks up in its next couple of weeks. I will be going to watch it again, and I'd like to know whether you are as well. Right, on to the March box office. We have 10 movies to go through. 2 are technically from February, but they've now completed their theatrical run. So we will take a look at those. And I'm thinking maybe I might take a couple of guesses for movies that are coming out in April, and at the end of the month we can see whether I was correct or not. That could be fun. So we'll take a look at Wuthering Heights to start off with. Not Withering, as I always say. Wuthering Heights has finished its theatrical run now. Had a budget of $80 million. Lord knows where they spent that. A break-even point of around 200 million. As I said, you need about 2.5 times your production budget to break even. Sometimes it's publicly known what their break-even point is. Sometimes it's just an industry average. But break-even of Wuthering Heights is about 200 million. Box office, 236 million. So they did indeed profit quite nicely. Well done. Surprised? No. Annoyed? Yes, because I don't think it deserved it. Look, a lot of people work on these movies and they deserve this success, but it's not great. It's actually, I think I've reduced my rating to like a 2.5 on it now. Scream 7, on the other hand, objectively a very bad movie. A 2-star movie. First opening 20 minutes, incredible. Peak cinema, scary, tense, like original, reminded me of the classics, but no, then went on downhill. There was AI involvement, but they kind of didn't really address the AI as much as possible. They brought back old characters, but didn't have them back, and they should have done, and it was all very bit messy. The reveal was horrible. Anyway, finished its theatrical run with a budget of $45 million. Not bad. I think they used that money well, got to be honest. Then a break-even point of $110 million. A whopping $204 million at the box office. Ka-chow. That's pretty damn good. That is pretty damn good. The Bride, unsurprisingly, in 8th place, opened March 6th. I think they've taken it out of theaters. Budget 90 million. Apparently it pushed to about 110 because they had to do a lot of reshoots. Now, reshoots are never really a good sign. Okay, sometimes it's just to add extra story elements and it's a bonus. But I think they were maybe trying to fix this. Budget of 90 to 110 million, break even of around 220 million, $23.2 million at the box office. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you heard that right. 23.2. It didn't even make back a third of its budget, maybe even a quarter of its budget. That is abysmal. So, I mean, they would have lost around 180 million on this. That's insane. That's insane. That's how crazy the industry is. And that's why you're like, well, how comes X movie has made $1 billion when it's rubbish? Well, if it's marketed correctly and it's a crowd pleaser and it's easy watch, then that's where they make their money back to cover for losses like this. Hoppers that released on the 6th of March. These are in date order, by the way, not success order, or maybe they are. Don't want to spoil it. 6th of March, budget $150 million. Break even, $375 million. It's quite a high budget for a CGI animation. Now, I believe this is just because of the vast quantity of different animal types and variation, and the scale of the movie is pretty good, and it's quite long. And it's all hand-drawn and then CGI'd. So I expect that's probably why it's so high. Box office is 300 million. Now, it's been open for about 3 weeks in cinema. It'll do another 3 weeks because it's kind of really the only animation in cinema right now. It'll break even for sure, 100%. I don't think it will profit loads, maybe 50 to 100 million, which is, they'll take that. It's an original. Reminders of Him that opened on the 13th of March. Budget of 18 million. I actually didn't see this movie. I had tickets to go watch it. I got in my car to drive and go watch Reminders of Him. And I thought, no, I'm not going to do that to myself. And I'm glad I didn't. Apparently it's rubbish. 45 million break even. 67.6 at the box office million, obviously. It's pretty freaking good. For a movie that's bad, but people love crappy rom-coms, okay? People gobble that shit up. So no surprise there. What is a surprise is Gore Verbinski's Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die. Opened on the 13th of March. 20 million budget. Not too bad. Break even 50 million. Should be attainable. Gore Verbinski, respected director. First movie in a decade, something like that. Did the original Pirates trilogy. I adore him. Couldn't wait to see what he did with Sam Rockwell, of all people. $9.3 million at the box office. I'm not sure that it was marketed correctly. I'm pretty sure it was R-rated, which doesn't help. And because even if people are over the age of 15, they see R-rated and a lot of people go, maybe it's not for me. A lot of adults might go, oh, I don't like intense action flicks or whatever. When I think there's more about AI exploration. Apparently it's a bit wacky. It didn't get the greatest reviews anyway. It was pretty mixed. So I think all of that combined adds up, but not even making a production budget back is pretty damn poor. So that's already available on demand on streaming via Amazon, I think. But yeah, poor Gore Verbinski. Maybe he'll go back into hiding for a little bit more. Next up is How to Make a Killing. Now, this opened earlier in the US on the 20th of February, and in the US on 20th of February, UK 13th of March. Had a budget of 15 million. I think it used that 15 million pretty well. 37 million break-even point, but a measly 13.3 million at the box office. As I said, back-to-back flops for Glenn Powell. Is his agent signing up to the wrong stuff? Is it him? Is he not the Hollywood draw that we thought? I don't quite understand why Glenn Powell isn't getting the attraction that he thinks he deserves and that Hollywood is sort of making him out to have. I'm very confused by the lack of love for Glenn Powell because people are not turning out. I mean, it didn't even make its production budget back. And it was the same for The Running Man. So what's going on there? I think, it's obviously only been open 2.5 weeks. It's still available. It will, in time, make its money back. I doubt it will break even. That's not really going to happen. It will probably do quite well on Netflix. But A24 just don't seem to do their marketing very well either. They love to market horror movies, but every other genre, they're kind of just like, people will watch it if they want to. And I'm like, You do A24. You do great non-horror movies, but alas, no. And of course, at number one, not number one, the next one, sorry, 20th of March is Project Hail Mary. Budget 200 million. 250 million is being reported, but they recorded a lot in the UK. We gave them major tax credits, basically. So about 200 million after tax credits. Break even, 500 million. It was Amazon MGM's most expensive movie and currently their most successful movie at $317 million at the box office. Remember, these numbers are correct as of the 31st of March. And it's still not opened across half of Europe. You know, Spain only just got it a couple days ago. I don't know whether like China and stuff have it yet, but there's a lot more money to come, basically. So at least 20 major countries still don't have this film. Say they all add 5 to 10 million each. Yeah, this is looking at the $600 to $700 million mark. That's pretty damn great. Ready or Not 2, released after that on the 20th of March as well. Still has only opened in 50% of its territory so far. I believe it's getting released the whole way through April. Most of Europe is what's missing it. Budget $14 million, break even $35 million, despite it having pretty low reviews. Currently $23.6 million, which is pretty good because it will definitely break even and will probably profit. Look for this movie to come in around the $40 million mark. They'll be pretty happy with that, even if it's bad. And finally, They Will Kill You was the most recent release, 27th of March, 20 million box office budget, 50 million break even point, but a very unfortunate $8.9 million at the box office. I was expecting more. I was wanting more. I thought word of mouth would push it. But I think, you know, if you're going to the cinema at this time and it's They Will Kill You or Ready or Not, a very similar-esque. People know Ready or Not. This is why sequels often make a lot of money, even if they're not good, because people are comfortable. They don't have the stress of having to jump into a new environment. People like comfort when it comes to movies. So Ready or Not 2, I imagine people will seek out over They Will Kill You. They're kind of similar movies. Also coming out around the same time as Project Hail Mary. That's sapping a lot of the money out of all of these films. Because it's like, a lot of people don't go to the cinema that often. They might go 5 or 6 times a year. And the big blockbuster is what brings bums to seats. So Project Hail Mary is sort of stealing the way there. So an interesting month, kind of a bit all over the place. Some surprises, some not so surprises. But that's the results. What are your thoughts? Let me know down below. Of course, as I said about box office, it doesn't mean everything. It means a lot to the suits around the table at the top. But one battle after another won 6 Oscars, and it didn't even profit. So do with that information as you please. Now, there's a lot to come in April. I did a full video on both YouTube Shorts and TikTok where it's what to watch, what TV shows and films to watch in April. You can see the title pretty obviously from the image on the outside. So go look at that if you want the full breakdown. Here are 3 TV shows and 3 movies to keep an eye out for that got me most excited. TV-wise, we have The Boys. Season 5, the final season, starts on the 8th of April. This weekend, I am dropping a full recap of The Boys, so you don't have to worry about watching the show before then. Sometimes the recap that Amazon Prime does is not the strongest. I will give you the best one. It will be less than 3 minutes, and you'll have a full recap of 4 seasons, everything you need to know before going in. I cannot wait. Predictions on who I think will die. I think Butcher will die. I think Homelander will die. I think Deep will die. And a couple of other Homelanders people will die. I imagine Frenchie will die as well. Mother's Milk, probably not. And Kimiko, also not. But then I expect, this is my big prediction, is that Huey and Starlight both survive and they adopt Ryan. That's what I'm predicting will happen. Then you have a show called Half Man. HBO Max, which is in the UK. Shout out to HBO Max. Absolutely loving it. I think it's a fantastic platform. They have so much on there. They have a new show called Half Man. Now, this is produced and written by the same guy that did Baby Reindeer. So if you like Baby Reindeer, you'll probably enjoy Half Man. I don't know the entire plot, but honestly, that's enough to suck me in. So I'm not surprised that HBO Max have it. And I think it might also be on the BBC. I can do a quick search now. I think the BBC have a deal to show it. They do. It's coming out. Here we go. So the BBC has revealed first look at Half Man, the original 6-episode drama from Richard Gadd, Baby Reindeer. So he stars as brothers. Today, spanning almost 40 years from the 1980s to present day. It follows them in their younger years and the violence that they experience through life. Okay, that's a terrible recap, BBC. Absolutely awful. But I'm telling you, chat, okay? Keep an eye out for it. So it looks like it'll be the BBC in the UK and HBO everywhere else. I am very excited, I've got to be honest. And then Margot's Got Money Troubles, which is an Apple TV show with Elle Fanning, Offerman. What's Offerman's first name? Can't remember. And somebody else. Wow. Well done, Oscar. That's really good memory. I thought I had it done. But anyway, this looks really intriguing. It's basically about a woman that has money troubles. She has a kid. And it's kind of like, what will you go through to support your child? She starts an OnlyFans. So it's Nick Offerman, Nicole Kidman, and Elle Fanning. The story follows Margot, a community college student, an aspiring writer who, while pregnant and short on cash, starts an OnlyFans to support her child, navigating complex relationships with her mother and wrestler father. Very excited. Sounds cool. Apple TV on the 15th of April. I will, of course, be reviewing that, so stick around to hear my thoughts. Movie-wise, 3 big ones this month. Well, there's lots. We obviously got Super Mario Bros. My review on that is already out. The drama releases Friday the 3rd. Very excited. We're finally going to find out what's going on between Zendaya and Robert Pattinson. I'm hyped. I can't wait. We also have Outcome, which is a dark comedy starring Keanu Reeves, written and starring Jonah Hill. I mean, this cast genuinely has absolutely everybody. It's on Apple. It's a movie. Here we go. This is the synopsis. Okay. Follows Hollywood star Reef as he is forced to confront his problems and atone for his past after being threatened by a bizarre video footage that's resurfaced. Keanu Reeves, Jonah Hill, Cameron Diaz, Matt Bomer, Martin Scorsese, Drew Barrymore. It's kind of stacked, guys. Very excited. I hope it is funny. I trust Jonah Hill. I trust him. And then, of course, at the end of the month, unsurprisingly, my most hyped project of the month is Michael, the Michael Jackson biopic, one of my favorite, my favorite artist of all time. Let me do some predictions. I think Michael will make over $1 billion. I think it will be the most successful biopic we've ever had. Bohemian Rhapsody made like $1.05 billion at the box office. I think Michael will do $1.1 to $1.2 billion. And I think the drama, I don't know what the drama's budget is, but it's A24, so it'll be modest. We can have a look. But I don't think it will do crazy. I think it will kind of get forgotten. 28 million. I expect it will maybe make $45 million. $50 million. I don't think it will profit crazy. So one thing says, oh yeah, okay, cool. But yeah, the big one of the month. Well, and Super Mario, I'm going to predict will make $1.3 billion because people love those movies. It's going to make so much cash. I mean, I've already seen it, but it opens mainly this weekend. So I expect that to start the month with $1 billion, and then we'll end the month with, I'll go 1.2 billion for Michael, and I'll go 1.3 billion for Super Mario. Super Mario, what did the first one get? Super Mario, I think, made Bros movie box office. Here we go. I think it made 1.3 billion. Super Mario Bros made. So Super Mario Galaxy, yeah, I'm gonna go I'm going to go the same. I'm also going to say 1.3. I think it'll be surprisingly close. Maybe 1.35, locking that in. And I think Michael, 1.12. That's my lock in. Let me know your predictions for how much each of these movies will make in the comment section down below. About 30 minutes. Not bad. Sorry if I lacked energy. I'm bloody knackered. But I appreciate you all as always. Go follow my TikTok. That's the main place you can find me. I'm trying to hit 5,000 followers by, I don't know, by the end of May. I go to Cannes Film Festival on the 19th of May. I would like to hit 5K followers by then. I'm on about 3.2K at the moment. So we've got some, we've got to get our wiggle on. But I think we can do it with your help and with my energy. I'll see you soon. Appreciate you guys. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow, rate the show 5 stars. And I'll see you soon.